In this video, we'd like to share with you an easy way to make soufflé in your air fryer. With a few simple steps of preparation, you can get this fancy looking dessert in 30 minutes. We've also tested this recipe at differing temperatures and did a side-by-side comparison with how it comes out of the oven. If you're curious to see these results, please keep watching. Here are the ingredients we're going to use. For reference, the batter will fit 4 small ramekin dishes that are about 3 inches in diameter with 100 milliliters capacity. If you're using a larger ramekin, feel free to scale up the ingredients and add some cooking time. First, heat up half a cup of milk in a pan over low heat, together with half a teaspoon of vanilla paste and a 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt. Whisk this well. You can substitute the vanilla paste with the same amount of vanilla extract. Let the milk simmer and infuse for about 10 minutes. We can use this time to prepare some of the other ingredients. Separate the white and the yolk from 2 eggs. Combine 1 tablespoon of sugar with 1/8 cup of cake flour. Add the yolks to this mixture. Then you'll get a thick paste like this. Add a few spoonfuls of warm milk and mix well with the yolk mixture until there are no more lumps. If there are a few lumps in there, just filter it out and then pour it back into the pan. Bring the pan back to the stove and keep it on low heat. We're going to thicken it. Make sure to keep whisking it so that the bottom part of the milk won't burn and everything will heat evenly inside the pan. When it becomes thick enough, it can hold a shape like this. Turn off your heat and transfer the cream into a bowl. Let it cool down for a little bit and then add 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter and whisk it well. Ideally, you should cover the cream with a plastic film and leave it in the fridge to chill. But since we're going to use it again very soon, I just put the cream in a big bowl and spread it out so it'll cool down more quickly. Next, coat the ramekin with butter and sugar. You can melt some butter and then use a brush to cover the surface. But I like to take the butter stick directly from the fridge and use my palm to warm it for 5 seconds, and then it'll be soft enough to stick to the surface. Dust some sugar, making an even covering of the bottom and the side of the dish, and shake off the excess. This coating will help the soufflé climb during the cooking process and also make it easier to wash the dish later on. After all the dishes are coated, preheat the air fryer at 375 degrees. We're going to whip the egg whites. Before you do this, prepare an 1/8 cup of sugar next to you. When the egg white becomes foamy, gradually add more and more sugar and keep whisking at high speed. Whip until stiff peaks form. At the end, the egg white should look like this. Now the yolk mixture has cooled down, add 1/3 of the egg white to the yolk and mix them well. And then transfer back to the rest of the egg white, using this folding motion to combine them until everything is well incorporated. Transfer the batter to the ramekin dish. By the way, if you want a chocolate lava filling, just add some chocolate wafers in the middle and cover with more batter. To make the soufflé look fancy, you can use a spatula to flatten the top part, and then use your thumb to rub around the rim of the ramekin to create a tiny gap in between. This will help the soufflé to rise and form a cylinder shape. If you're curious, here's how it looks without doing this step. It's still tasty, but it'll be more like a dome shape, and it might not rise enough. Lastly, add the ramekin into the air fryer. Make sure not to open the lid during the cooking process until it's finished. 7 minutes later, let's take a look. It's so light and fluffy and jiggly. They look so cool. It's so amazing to see how they become so tall in such a short amount of time. Since the top color is a little bit dark, we tried lowering the temperature a little bit to 360 and baking it for 8 minutes. And here's how it looked. One has exploded, but the other one looks really nice, even though it didn't really rise up evenly. The exploded one has chocolate inside, so maybe that's the reason why it blew up. Also, in our air fryer, there's no other option between 375 and 360, but you can test out on your air fryer and let us know how it turned out. Based on the result, we're going to stick to 375. By the way, if you don't have an air fryer, we also tested it in the oven. Here's how it looked like when baking at 380 for 18 minutes. At the end, you can dust some confectioner's sugar on top. Anyway, as long as the temperature stays within this range, they all turn out pretty great and taste amazing. It's nice and crusty on the outside, while the inside is so creamy and moist, except the oven has to cook a little bit longer than the air fryer. My favorite part is to pop open the top part and see the soft and airy inside. It's so satisfying. Let's take a look at the chocolate one. This one was my favorite. So the chocolate wafers melted down and they just taste great with a soufflé. Make sure to serve it as soon as possible. Otherwise it will deflate and it won't look as nice, but they still taste about the same. Voila, that's our soufflé recipe. We will share with you more souffle recipes in the future, including savory and sweet. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for our future recipes, and let us know how your souffle turns out in the comments below.